Thank you very much.
Maybe we can, David, if you can read out the names of the people that made the motion and second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tommy and
How do I get
Vicky.
Vicky was seconded. Yeah, for the RECCO for the record, yes.
Yes.
Well, can you put up the? There was no comments or additions to the agenda, I assume. So, can you put up the minutes of the last AGM from a year ago, please?
I've lost. Well, there we are.
Yep. You just scroll through them, Jim, if anybody has any comments or questions. The good and the bad about looking at minutes from a year ago, it's
Yes,
everybody's memories.
Oh, I'm too old for that.
You don't have total recall.
I listened to the recording and everything was kosher.
Oh, we're not questioning, sir.
Yeah. No, I know, but I had to just to be sure. For that reason, you don't remember.
Should be it right there.
There you go. So yes, right, ends right there. So and I have a motion to accept the minutes of the AGM of the 18th of December 2018.
I'll make that motion.
Jim Ferguson made the motion. Seconder, please.
Sure.
Jim Kenyon.
I'll second.
Oh, Jim, hi, Jim.
Hi there.
I haven't seen you today. I had to get away down the
I snuck in. I snuck in.
So the motion's carried. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the financial review. Can you put that up, please?
It's a big document. Don't know if it's going to come. Okay. So the financial statement was produced by Ethan, and from the company Biswana worked at, and there were no issues.
Looks like there's a fair amount of assets.
Well, yeah, it includes a lot of things, but it includes the money we have in the foundation, in District Foundation.
Would you like to make a motion, Jean-Michel?
I move that we accept the annual statements as of June 30th, 2019.
Seconder, please.
Tammy.
Tammy? Does anybody have any questions of Treasurer Jean-Michel? Oh.
Yeah, just quickly, I haven't, this is actually the first time I looked at it, but with last year, net assets were 25,000 and this year they're 17. Is that what I'm seeing?
No, I think it's the other way around.
The bottom there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. The other direction.
It's different in Mexico to Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I have a question. Where is the foundation? You said it included the foundation money. Where is the foundation money show up here?
The foundation money, that's it's on the bottom if you look down. Should be on the asset side.
Okay.
In the
So
general
under expenses,
Yeah, it is in this within that number here. We have 12,000 and some. I mean, I asked Ethan to have a special line, but it looks like he didn't do it.
Okay,
Unfortunately, Judy, I had the same problem when they do this review. They
this is Sharon.
they
Sharon's asking, not Judy.
oh, sorry, Sharon. Sorry, they lump all this in together,
Yeah.
and they've done it for 2 or 3 years, and what Jean-Michel produces tells you a lot more than this review.
Okay.
The review really, all they're telling in this review that nobody's gone off to the Cayman Islands with half the funds or something like that.
Well, mostly what it does, Sharon, is that it confirms the financials that the treasurer produces.
Okay,
That's really the essence of this, is that to make sure that the treasurer produces is the numbers match. That's what the audit is all about.
okay, thank you.
Are there any more questions for Jean-Michel?
Please, no.
That will instead of the motion carried and the review is accepted. Thank you very much, Jean-Michel.
Welcome.
The next is our election of officers, the names of which were sent to out to members. So I assume you've all had a chance to look at them. I'll ask if there are any nominations from the floor. I don't hear any. In accordance with, and by the way, Sharon questioned before whether we had a quorum, and for club decisions, we are required to have 1/3 of the club president present, which is 18 members, and we have more than 6 here. And they're, as there's no nominations from the floor and only one person for each position, our lawyer, who isn't in attendance tonight, but pointed out that we just need to, according to the bylaws, it's just a voice acknowledgement. So we'll call for Peter Denoy is nominated for president, and we'll ask for a aye or nay, please.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. Recorded as positive. President-elect Keith Evans.
aye.
Aye.
You. Recorded as positive. Secretary Tammy Wow.
Aye.
Aye, aye. You did a great job, Tammy.
Thank you.
And positive. And treasurer Jean-Michel Crepin has agreed to stand again.
Another aye.
Aye, aye,
Thank you, Jean-Michel.
aye.
I tried hard to get out of it, but
It was a valiant effort.
That's what happens when you're good at what you do.
Sharon Blake has agreed to stand for 1 year as a director.
Aye.
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 Judy Brown,
Aye.
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 Wow.
Jim Kenyon,
Aye.
and Janet Stead.
Aye.
Aye.
And Janet did agree. We're not volunteering her in for this. I thought she might be on, but maybe communications in Cuba are not so good. But well, thank you
There's
all
another
very
vote.
much.
Janet's here.
Oh, Janet is here.
Yeah, Janet's there, yeah.
Oh,
So is-
sorry.
Recognize her in her lovely hat.
Oh,
And so is John Kay. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Hello, John.
John Kay.
Oh, gosh, I'm
Right.
missing all these people. Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Let's hear you both. You're both muted. That's John. Hello, John.
John
Off the
Kay.
mute. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We always preferred it when John was muted, though.
Oh,
Meetings always went better.
Oh,
oh dear.
thank you.
I missed you, Doug.
Exactly.
The feeling's mutual there, Doug.
Yeah.
Janet said Mike's not working, so welcome anyway, Janet. Thank you very much. So, and I thank you for all of those who've stepped forward to serve their club and ensure its continued success. Thank you very much. And now I have a very pleasant Judy. And I need to get my glasses on. I should have done this on 16 font instead of 12. I've got a very pleasant duty to perform. In fact, two of them. Jim, I sent you a photograph of the PHF. Can you find that and put it up?
Bear with me, folks.
Problem.
It's all right. We're not going anywhere.
It's called a captive audience.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Wonderful. So my pleasant duty is to a presentation of Paul Harris Awards. The presentation of Paul Harris Fellow Recognition is the Rotary Foundation's way of expressing its appreciation for a substantial contribution to its humanitarian and educational programs. It's named for our founder, Paul Harris, the Chicago lawyer who started Rotary International with 3 business associates in 1905. Kitty, maybe you can unmic yourself, Kitty.
Hello.
Kitty, you
Yeah.
have been designated to receive this recognition as a special expression of appreciation from an anonymous club donor.
Wow.
In
Wow.
recognition for all the work you are doing, especially the many hours you spent preparing the weekly meetings, which I consider the lifeblood of our club.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so
Congratulations.
much. Oh,
Wow.
Ah,
ah.
That's fantastic. So well deserved.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And past President and District Governor-elect Jim Ferguson. It is because of gifts like yours that the Rotary Foundation is able to carry out an array of programs that achieve beneficial changes to our world, improving living conditions, increased food production, better education, wider availability of treatment and rehabilitation for sick and disabled, new channels for the flow of international understanding, and brighter hopes for peace. This being a virtual presentation, you will receive your respective pins. A Paul Harris Fellow +8 for you, Kitty, and a Paul Harris Fellow +2 for you, Jim. Thank you very much. So let's applaud these.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a surprise, and it's fantastic to have this happen at the Christmas celebration.
Well, it's unfortunate that our president can't be here, and so he asked me to perform this ceremony for him. So,
I'm just
Thank you
thrilled.
again.
Thank you very much.
well, thank you, Kitty. You mean so much to our club.
Thank you, Kitty.
Well, I enjoy it, and I hope you, I'm just very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
for
then-
sure. You know, Kitty's doing a fantastic job. I had done it for a few years. There was some people had tried to help, but Kitty actually is the one that stepped in, and she's got the right attitude. She's doing a super job in the weekly meetings. So congratulations, Kitty.
Thank you, thank you. Honestly, I am so pleased to be part of this club. I love it. I'm not a full member, but I'm absolutely loving it. I am, in my heart, I'm a full member.
You sure are.
Yeah.
Very much. So is there anything else for the good of Rotary before we end the formal part of the AGM? Being nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Thank you. So we
So we
how
can
many?
drink out the wine?
Right, now we can open the wine.
Yeah.
That was a record meeting. That was a total of 17 minutes.
Hey,
All
another record.
right. Yeah, efficient.
Wow.
Well, that's partly due to your organization and getting everything all laid out.
Oh, yeah, no, that was. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I appreciate a short meeting.
Yes. Yes, I bet you do, for sure.
well,
Quick and dirty.
more time for wine.
Yeah. Every time I see an email now from Jim Ferguson, I have to get a drink myself because it usually means about 15 entries for something he attended.
Yeah.
You're a busy boy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very busy.
Yeah, exactly.
So where have you been? Where have you been? Which club have you visited, Jim?
I haven't been to the club visits to any great extent right now. We are going to Westlock and to Athabasca. We're doing a presentation on Project Amigo. But there's been a lot of meetings, district meetings with the district board, replacing the Rini Kavanaugh, as you know, retired. She retired from Rotary, her position, and she's moved to a different position. So we've had quite a few meetings. We went on Sunday, I guess it was, Monday morning, we did interviews with some people that were interested in the position. So it's been a lot of district business meetings. That's my life.
For another year, right?
Until July the 1st, and then it'll be all the clubs.
This is just part of the training, Jim.
Yeah, I guess you'd call it that.
I don't
Does your
think
wife
it
ever
ends
see you?
after. Well, she's sitting behind him right now. I
Probably
don't
so he
think
can
it
be with
ends
them.
after a year, though. I think it just goes on and on and on.
Well, we have past District Governor Judy Brown here, so is that the case, Judy?
Oh, yes. It's like in the mafia. Once you're in, they never let you out. It's a lifetime sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never stop being a past district governor. You're that
No.
life, huh?
Right.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
I'm happy Mrs. Claus has arrived with the mince pies.
Oh,
It looks very good.
oh,
Very nice.
great. Yeah, very good.
So we have been to the North Pole, by the way.
Wow.
We've been there. We were
Been there?
Absolutely.
Doing makeup? Wow.
Yes, did the makeup, and Mrs. Claus went and visited Santa
Oh,
in July.
nice. Did you get to sit on his knee, Sharon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for him. He got all these people sort of my size.
Yeah.
Just no little guys.
Oh, that's good.
I thought the North Pole was in Canada, not Alaska.
Well, this is North Pole,
It's
Alaska.
Alaska.
That's right, John.
Yeah, just outside of Fairbanks.
It is. And it was started because they didn't have any businesses then. Somebody thought if they called the town North Pole, they'd attract businesses that would generate, do Christmas stuff, make Christmas stuff. But I don't know if it was that successful. But the Santa Claus, I don't know how, it's probably open all year round, I suppose.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
There in August.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's there for the tourists, you know. 'Cause,
They should organize a Santa Claus convention up there.
Yes. Maybe Rotary could sponsor that
Isn't it
As a
Vancouver that has the
fundraiser.
as a
Santa?
fundraiser. Yeah, why not?
Isn't it Vancouver that they have the Santa Claus in Speedos? They have
Yeah,
like hundreds of Santa Clauses in Speedos running.
it's
It's a
great.
charity
I think
event.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Not
we
in
were
the
on our
They,
trip,
they probably pay more not to do it, you know.
when we were on a trip to Finland last month or 2 months ago, they have a North Pole there, and they have the Santa Village. And we went in there and just told them they must be fake because we've been to the real North Pole, Santa's place twice. And so we just told them that they were fake. They were just not the real one, and we have the real one in Alaska.
I bet they really appreciated you.
I had the good pleasure of having dinner one time with the mayor or the governor of Lapland, and they actually have a government employee who plays Santa Claus. Best gig he ever had. But she told the story of opening a huge mall, a kind of indoor mall in China, and of course, the Chinese are very caught up on timing. If you're supposed to be there at 3, you're supposed to be there at 3. Well, Santa Claus didn't show up, and he was brand new. He had just started the job. So they phoned his room in the hotel, and it was one of these things where 8 or 9 stories and then covered and down onto the mall. And he didn't answer his phone. So they sent somebody up to the room to knock on the door, and nobody answered. So in the midst of all of this, Santa Claus comes in covered in sweat, hair all matted. What had happened was he stepped out on the balcony for a cigarette and locked himself on the balcony. Well, in Asia, a lot of the balconies will have ladders that are cut to the length to go down. And he knew his best job in the world playing a Santa Claus, government Santa Claus. So he went down, and he's terrified of heights. So he went down 8 stories amidst hundreds of people yelling and cheering. She said the funny thing was they thought this was a setup. Thought that this was. I said, did he quit smoking? Oh yeah, he's cigarettes.
Unbelievable. I think I became a Santa Claus skeptic when I was about 10 years old. I saw Santa on a Saturday afternoon coming out of the Legion.
That's true.
I used to have a vet work for me, and he was being interviewed by a high school student, and I sent a vet student that was with us for the summer up to join in, and she came down just doubled over laughing. And one of the questions was, how did you become a vet? And he said, I got into the wrong line at registration line in university. And she's taking notes, and finally said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, I saw the sign that said vets. And I thought those were the guys that drank at the Legion, so that's the line.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think it's time to read our poem. So I had some good contributions from some of you, and yesterday I was thinking we can't have just a few people in it. So my creative juices started flowing, and I started writing madly. So and there's not, and I hope that I don't offend anyone. I tried to be really nice to it all. There is a bit of humor here and there.
Offend us.
Some stories I've heard about people and what have you. So I'll try and share this on the screen, and I will send it to all of you. And I'm especially happy to see John here tonight because I have a little plea in the poem for John to come visit us. So John, I guess my plea worked because you're here. But I'll try and share this now, and then I'll read it for you. And those who did submit, kudos to you all. Some of you I added a little bit to what you gave me, and then others that didn't write in. Janet, I see you sent me something just before I sat down here, and I didn't have time to incorporate it, but I will before I send this out to you. So let's see if I can share this now. Can you see it?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, can't read it, but oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's probably not big enough because I had to, there's so much in there that I had to do
Wow.
that. So I'll just start, and hopefully it won't take too long to read through it. It was a sunny day in Red Deer as we sat down to lunch. Peter, Ileana, Frank, and Tammy were all excited to munch. We raised our glasses and quickly picked up our spoons to savor some East Coast chowder at 40 minutes past noon. We then dialed Jean and David to plan a RECCO pod date, and to Calgary we will go on Monday, trying hard not to be late. Meanwhile, on the beach along the Pacific coast, there's this lovely couple making a margarita toast. They'd love to be in Red Deer to join the Alberta pod, but the weather is too cold there, so they'd rather not. They will bring the Christmas spirit to children in need. With Project Amigo, you're asking? Yes, it is indeed. To Christmas in Mexico, Ellie and Ramiro will never say no, but joining their friends on Zoom is definitely a go. David and Sharon are sorry to miss out on the fun at Jean and Barbara's condo, which faces the sun. They wanted to be there for everyone to greet, but their furnace conked out and there is no heat. It's really cold in Cochrane and there's snow everywhere. They'd rather be in Mexico with the sun so very fair. But they don their mittens and pour themselves a scotch and wish they could be at Jean's for the sunset to watch. It's 8:30 on the west, or the sunny west coast, but it's never too late for a rotary toast. The wine is now chilling, but appies are nil. Sharon heads to the den and gives a glass to her fill. They would like to be at the RECCO Pod Fest, but it's quite a drive to Calgary from way out west. They will toast the gang in lovely Abbotsford. And then merrily sing joy to the world. And Sharon, I realized after I did that, you're in Chilliwack, but you're close enough.
It wouldn't have rhymed with world.
No,
so
it
better-
wouldn't. I'm sure I can make it work. So Vicki really wanted to escape the Canadian snow, so she made a plan for Guatemala to go. She is sorry to miss her lively RECCO friends, but she'll see them in January. On that, you can depend. So for now, Vicki is busy making a very large list to ensure the activities for 2020 will not be missed. Her school children are anxious for Santa to be here. Christmas Eve can't come fast enough, I fear. While way up north at Skeleton Lake, Jocelyn was bustling around getting ready to bake. With delicious aromas that filled the air, you knew for certain it was her famous tourtière. Meanwhile, Jim was outside busy clearing the snow that seems to arrive every day when the wind starts to blow. To help out his neighbors, which is the Rotarian way, Jocelyn and Jim wish everyone a wonderful Christmas day. Jim and Mickey really wanted to be in Calgary to join the gang in the condo and sing merrily. But they too live in a very northern place, and the drive to Alberta they simply could not face. So they'll lift their glasses in the north and patiently wait for Santa to go forth. Peace on earth and goodwill to man, says Jim the retired veterinarian. Judy and Ron are happily enjoying the sunny sky. They don't miss the snow in Alberta. They simply said goodbye. Life in
Can you scroll? We can't see.
Oh,
Scroll up
sorry.
to the next page.
There we go. Sorry about that. Thanks, Vicki. So life in Mexico is busy and fulfilling every day with many Rotarians who come to work and play. Project Amigo makes their days busy but fun. God blesses the children, each and every one. Their glasses are raised to the gang in Cowtown. Peace and goodwill on their wine they will down. Doug and Joanne are God knows where. Hopefully they remember to comb their hair. Their lives are full of adventure as they travel the earth. Perhaps tonight they will sit by a lovely fireside hearth. They too would love to be able to bang their wine glasses in Calgary with the RECCO gang. May Santa find you both in a place without fear. We wish you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Meanwhile in England, Keith looks forward every week to coffee chats with RECCO and a mug that doesn't leak. Keith loves to laugh and joke and chat with the RECCO crew and hopes that others soon their memberships will renew. Keith would like to be at the condo by the river where everyone is having fun and yelling, "Keith, come hither." Instead, he will raise a glass and toast his friends with something red and think about peace on earth when he lays down upon his bed. May God bless everyone no matter where you're from. Here's to the hope that polio will soon be overcome.
Wow.
Kitty arrived with her friend in tow, the Meads Bay Arcanid all ready to go. They both brought warm greetings from BWI, the sun, sand, and sea with a turtle nearby. Wishing you all the best of the season, but much more than that, a passionate reason to continue to think of the others in need, of those who can benefit from just one good deed. With our sheer expertise and our humanity, we can bring all us closer to the world that we need. With that thought in mind and a look to the future, let's raise our cups to our next great adventure. Happy Christmas and best for 2020. In Okotoks, Alberta, you'll find Jeff McFarland. He enjoys the mountains with Angie, his darling. They love housing Rotary students from foreign parts who come to Canada and become attached to our hearts. We hope that you will continue to guide our young leaders. In RECCO 2020, the youth are really very needed. May Santa find you and your family all in good stead and leave you some goodies on which you can feed. Janet and Dan Stead live in Ontario on Island B52. We hear it's rather remote and not easy to get to. It would be so nice to meet you both face to face, but we understand why you can't be at Jean's place. So we'll raise our glasses of wine to you and toast as we sit down to dine with Jean and Barbara, our lovely hosts. We wish you both a joyous Christmas holiday. Have fun with your loved ones in Mactier Bay. We're coming to the end. And in Edmonton, you will find a very lovely pair, Bryce and Pranita and their lovely young lady Fair. They would love to be at the condo in Calgary South to drink some wine and put yummy food in their mouth. But Bryce is very busy making videos and writing stuff. The days go by very fast. Time is never enough. To promote the district conference coming up in the fall, the year will be 2020 and we're going to have a ball. The RECCO studio in their basement is really the best. We wish them peace and joy as they take some time to rest. Sabine lives in Saxony and is a doctor of bones. We miss hearing from her. Please pick up the phone. The new year is coming, so let's urge her to join us. It's so easy to zoom in without any fuss. The best of the season we wish to you and yours. So pour the wine, light the candles, and open your doors. We have not heard from John for quite some time, and we hope that he and Holly are doing fine. They live down in Washington, not far from BC. We would love in the year 2020 your face to see. It's easy to find us on Zoom each month, every second Tuesday. Dial in and see what is happening, please, John K. All the best of the season from all of us to you. We hope that Santa finds you in Washington too. In White Rock, BC, you will find an honorary member. Her name is Anna Soper, and she's happy it's December. She's a very nice lady who loves to travel and meet other Rotarians in many cities and on downtown streets. We wish you the best at this time of year to you and all those you come near. So we're nearing the end of our first Christmas poem by the RECCO team members wherever they roam. We may not be many, but together we mightily roar. Look out 2020, our plans are in motion for much more. Let's work hard this year to make our team flourish with new hands and ideas from which we can all nourish. And celebrate, in closing, we wish you the best of the Christmas season and celebrate RECCO, our main focus and reason. Thank you, God, for our blessings and those we hold dear. Merry Christmas to all and a Happy New Year.
Wow.
Bravo, bravo.
That was excellent.
That was
My
good.
goodness.
Wow.
We tried to get a little bit of everything in there. I know it's longer. But
Fantastic.
yeah, that's good.
I think that poem is worth a Paul Harris.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah,
Very good.
thank you. It was fun. Yeah. It's awesome.
Very
Oh.
good. Very well done. Very well done.
I'll
Well,
stop sharing this.
Judy and I were commiserating with each other with that literacy. And you've done a terrific job. But the best I could do was somebody else's little poem. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know.
No, yeah.
But if I should run out of the white, I'll gladly drink the red, though.
That's good.
Oh, boy.
Merry Christmas.
That's good.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everybody. Yes,
Merry
cheers.
Christmas, huh? Wait, they can see you. There.
Does
There's
anybody
Ron.
does anybody have any
Merry
special
Christmas.
Christmas traditions that they do? No?
This will be the first Christmas that we're not spending it in Edmonton with the kids.
Oh,
So our new Christmas tradition for this year is that we're going out for Christmas dinner with my brother and his wife who live here now. And we're going to go to the beautiful, what is it, Nueva Posada Hotel on the lake, just in Ajijic. And having we've never gone out to a restaurant for Christmas dinner either. So this will be something brand new for us.
It'll be nice.
Good. Enjoy, have fun.
Very nice.
Awesome.
What do you expect for a Christmas dinner in Mexico, Judy?
Pardon?
What do you expect for a
The
Christmas
same
dinner?
thing, turkey, dressing, everything that I would cook, except I don't have to do the cooking this time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My cousin in Kansas sent a note that the kids, her kids want a cat this year for Christmas. She normally does a turkey, but she's going to try.
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what happens here in Guatemala is people usually go to mass at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and then they go home and they serve what are called paches, which is kind of like mashed potatoes with tomato sauce and turkey inside, wrapped up in a banana leaf and steamed. And then they make what's called ponche, which is a fruit punch with papaya and pineapple and all kinds of stuff and tons of sugar.
Yeah.
And so that's what they have. And then at midnight, everybody everywhere sets off firecrackers and fireworks for half an hour.
Oh.
The first year I thought, this is what a war zone is like. It was so noisy. But when you go up on your roof, you can just see fireworks all over, and they just go on and on and on and on. And kids in the street setting off firecrackers, and so
nice.
And then the 25th is kind of a day to recuperate.
Yeah.
I've been invited to a friend's house for a pig roast. She has a big yard, and she gets a pig and puts it on she gets somebody to do it. So I don't have to do any cooking either, which I'm real happy about.
That's a nice thing when you don't have to do any.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah, very good.
I do a lot of traditional baking from, I have a Christmas cake recipe that I infuse with Cointreau, which is belonged to my 102-year-old friend's mother. So it's a very old recipe. It's in pounds. It's not in cups, and so it's very old. So I do a lot of very traditional recipes from my mother and things that are now on their 3rd generation or 4th generation. And all my 4 children and their families all get little care packages if they don't come home. So I have to make sure I send them to them. So that's what I do. I do the cakes 2 months before, and they are I do 2 different kinds. One sits in rum, is infused with rum, and the other with Cointreau, and and they're quite tasty when we open them up.
Do you send care packages to Anguilla?
Yeah.
They might not make them there, Kitty.
I think that Cointreau recipe needs to go on the weekly meeting. Send it to Kitty.
What does everybody else do for their holiday season?
We haven't heard much from John Kay. John?
You haven't heard from me.
No.
Well, one of the things that's, you may have considered me missing, but how do I get my video up here?
You're up. You're up.
We can see you.
I'm up, okay.
Yeah, we can see you.
Well, you think I'm missing, but you see this letter I got today? It's from Service Canada. And the government also found me missing because we moved this. And they sent out a confirmation. They sent out a confirmation to see if I was still alive. And because I would move, it was returned to them. So they considered me dead.
Oh my goodness.
Missing and dead. That's a
Canada
double
pension.
Oh,
So I finally have advised them where I am, and they now know where I am. So
good.
Life is good today.
Yeah. That's good.
So you don't have to worry you found me too, so.
At least it wasn't a bill. Well, CRA will always find you, John.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
We've been
John,
looking, they haven't found
John,
me
we had
yet.
to go to CRA to find out where you were.
Exactly. But we started a thing probably 25 years ago. Our property has a nice hill in the back. So we started having Christmas Eve day parties, sledding parties, where everybody could bring the kids and they could go sledding, and then they would be tired and sleep that night. Well, 25 years later, now the kids that were sledding are bringing their kids.
Because they want them to sleep.
This has become a tradition now for every year. Although the last couple of years, they go sledding down in a different place. It's a much more fun hill for the older kids. And so we had everything all set to go. It started at 1 o'clock, and by 3 o'clock, not a single person showed up. And at 3:05, 55 people cleared the door, and it was like locusts. But it's quite amazing the number of people that show up. And yeah, they seem to come out of the woodwork. And of course, the funniest one was afterwards. This would be about 10, 15 years ago. We're doing dishes with this woman, and at one point I said, "Oh, you're a friend of Amanda's?" No. Oh, well, you're a friend of something? No. And all of a sudden she started crying. And I said, have I done something terribly wrong? And no, she says, my daughter and I were walking by and it looked like a hell of a good party. So I just came and enjoyed it. She stayed and did the dishes. I have no idea who she was.
Fantastic. Oh, good. That's great.
A wonderful Christmas story.
Yeah, and she's never been back, unfortunately.
Oh, too bad.
Exactly. So Janet, are you staying where you are for Christmas? Do you go somewhere?
This Jim?
No, Janet.
Oh, Janet.
Do you stay? Think
she doesn't have her voice. She doesn't have her voice.
Goes back to Canada on Friday.
Okay.
Very good. Until January 3rd.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, great. Thank you.
And then she's going to get help there for her voice.
Yeah, that's right.
Tammy, what do you guys do?
We actually, my girls don't like turkey much, so for the past number of years, we have lobster on Christmas Day. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, that's our Christmas tradition, and then we make chowder the next day. So it's lots of very relaxing. We sit around our pajamas with the kids and watch movies and play games, and we all are around the country, so Christmas just becomes whatever we can arrange, basically.
Where are they, Tammy?
The oldest girl with the boys is here. She and her husband live here. Our middle daughter was here, was in Kelowna, and she transferred to Alert Bay in September, up off of the northwestern tip, I guess, northeastern tip of Vancouver Island. Beautiful place. In fact, she sent us pictures yesterday with orcas right out her front window. Yes, you see them quite often in the bay. It's a lovely place. And we're really happy. Yesterday, Trish, the same girl, she had breast cancer 5 years ago. 5 years ago today, she walked out of the hospital with stage 4 breast cancer, complete mastectomy, and she's overcome everything. So she's doing amazingly well. She's an athlete, so she's the oncologist used to ask her if she could bottle her enthusiasm and her desire to. She would be so sick one week with the chemotherapy, which she did for 15 months, and then within a week she'd be out running. Did a couple of half marathons while she was going through chemotherapy. So she's determined, that's for sure.
Fabulous.
Yeah, pretty proud of her. And then our youngest daughter, who also lived here, she's a dispatcher with the RCMP. She transferred to Nova Scotia in last November, a year ago. So yeah, kind of scattered around, but yeah. We Skype and Zoom and all that good stuff too, so.
Isn't it amazing what you can do?
Yes.
When I first came to Guatemala 7.5 years ago, I didn't bring a computer with me. I didn't bring a phone with me. And so I had a date every Monday night at 6:30 with my kids, and I would go to an internet cafe that had a telephone booth, and I would pay 15 cents a minute, and I would go in this telephone booth and I would call them.
Yeah.
And now I can call them FaceTime, anything at any time.
Yeah.
And you get to see them. And
Yeah.
when I called my kids on Thanksgiving, my daughter was just taking the turkey out of the oven. And I said, "Oh, I'm so jealous I'm not there." And so she was telling me what she'd made. And I said, there's only two problems with, FaceTime, Zoom, that kind of thing. First of all, you can't reach out and give them a hug. And the other thing is you can't smell anything.
No.
And I was talking to somebody, I was telling somebody the same conversation. And this guy's an IT guy. And he said, "Well, it's coming. We're working on it. We haven't got it yet." And I said, "Well, that could be a good thing. It could also be a bad thing."
Exactly.
But maybe it's like the mute button. You can put on the smell or not the smell.
Yeah.
See which way it goes.
Right.
I also wanted to show you my celebratory drink. Oh, it probably shows up backwards, doesn't it? This is called Rumpope.
No.
Rumpope. It's like an eggnog with rum in it.
Oh,
And,
it's already mixed?
Already mixed. And this woman told me about it last year, so I bought some.
Yeah.
And it's,
Nice.
it comes in a box, so that kind of tells you the quality, but it has all the necessary things for Christmas.
Oh,
Christmas
good.
good.
There you go.
Good, very good.
So, Jocelyn, your meat pies, your tourtière, is it a Quebec style or more of an Acadian style one?
More Acadian.
Yeah, so with pork and beef and chicken?
No,
Yeah.
just pork, potatoes, onions, lots of spices.
Yeah, my mom makes those too. They're so good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been making them for years, and I usually have a long list of people waiting in line
To get one. Wow.
Nice.
Yes, great for you. That's awesome.
We're actually celebrating 2 Christmases. This weekend, we're having Christmas with our little family.
Yes.
Matt, Diane, and Theo, and Ryan, they're coming, and we're having Christmas. And then Christmas Day, my sister's putting it on in Edmonton. She's rented a hall, and there's going to be like 38 of us.
Nice.
Wow.
Fun, 'cause
Lots of good food.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. And Theo's at a good age, so.
Yes, it'll be fun. Yeah, that's right.
I wanted to take the opportunity to thank everybody who did their little bit of service projects, and I've been posting them on the Facebook page. I don't know if you've seen them, and I'm collecting them. And I thought I would just do a little point, maybe for our next fellowship or something like that at the end of the year. So yeah, still do it. Still do it at the end of the year. Just do something. We're going out to do a homeless dinner on the 29th of December. We usually serve about 125 people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So.
This will be our second Christmas in a small village in Mexico. And the first year we really, there's a real awareness that, there's no Santa Claus. And it's not about greed and what we can get from somebody.
Consumerism.
There's such a sense of giving, and the community came out and took care of everybody. And as an example, we were one night, I think, and it goes on for many, many nights, but one night there's a procession and all the people came out and they're putting their little plastic chairs down along the side of the road. And we're going, what's this about? And they had bags, garbage bags. And so Joanne and I went over in front of the church and we sat down on this bench. And there's a procession. They brought the Virgin out and dragged, paraded her through the village and brought her back in, and this whole ritual about bringing her back into the church and lots of fireworks and that. And we're still wondering about the bags. And what happened was the side doors of the church opened up, and out came all this stuff like sweets and oranges and cookies and lots of food and whatever. It seemed like whatever was available from the community came out, and it went into the bags, and they went up down the street just giving, filling up everybody's bag in the community. And we were sitting beside this guy that had to be 100 and no teeth and little old guy. And so they actually gave us bags, and they're filling our bags. And we're looking at him, and Joanne starts giving him some of her stuff. Next thing you know, he's got 3 for 1 because we gave him all of our stuff. And he was so thrilled. He's just in love with Joanne because he's just got all this neat stuff for the year. But it's truly about, in this country, it's more about what we can give away rather than what we can share, than what we can get. And it's really, really refreshing.
That's very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure Guatemala is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how the upper echelon do Christmas because I am not involved with any of them. And, you know, the people I deal with don't have a lot of money. So birthday presents and Christmas presents don't exist, but it's all about family and being together and, you know, spending the time together, which is, you know, a much more valuable gift than anything you buy in the store. And I tell you, that's one thing I don't miss at all is, you know, going shopping or being at the malls. Before I left, a couple of years before I left to come here, my son suggested that we only give each other Christmas presents that we had made ourselves. So everybody made stuff. My son made pickles, and I can't remember what anybody else made, but it was all consumable stuff, which was really nice, and it was made by the person who gave it. And then the next year, my daughter says to me, Mom, none of us need anything, and we all hate shopping. What do you think about the idea if we just don't exchange gifts? And I said, oh, I raised you right. So I went to pass the suggestion on to my son. And when I said it, he kind of screwed up his face. And I thought, oh, he's going to be really disappointed. He said, Mom, I can't tell you how happy I am to hear that.
Yeah.
So we haven't exchanged gifts for 8 or 9 years. And it's just, you know, we call each other and, you know, but we don't exchange gifts. And that's just really nice.
Yeah, good for you.
Sharon and I are going to be ringing the bell at the Salvation Army Kettle tomorrow in the Save-On grocery store in Cochrane, with a 3-hour shift. And I mean, in past years, it's been amazing, the people that walking by and all of a sudden a lady will put a $20 bill in. And,
wow.
Fantastic.
People you don't expect to have that kind of money. We live near
a reserve.
A reserve native.
Bye, Sharon.
Hi.
Sharon.
And they,
Sharon said she was leaving.
Oh.
And they quite often come into some of the stores, and they are some of the most generous people. They buy their groceries and then they look in their wallet and see what's left and put it in.
Wow.
Yeah. That's nice. At my sister's Christmas party, we're not doing gift exchange at all. Everybody's bringing Dapper mustard seed, and then she's delivering it all. So
nice.
I went and stocked up on socks and mitts and hats, scarves, blankets, and then all personal hygiene stuff. So yeah, and the kids, you know, are participating in that too. So it's good for them to know the other side as well. That there's a lot of poverty out there. So yep. They'll be bringing a truckload of stuff to Mustard Seed.
Fantastic.
Good. Very nice.
Well, everybody was happy that our business side of the meeting was finished on time or early. I don't want to ruin the record by going late. Neither do I want to curtail the meeting. Everybody seems to be really having fun and great stories. If anybody got more stories to relate?
I don't have a story, but may I show you a photo I took just yesterday?
I thought you were going to show us the beach with the spider.
Yeah. Well, I know I'll do one of these, but I'll show you this picture that I took yesterday. You see that? Do you know what that is?
Wow.
That's
a rainbow.
But what's that beside the rainbow?
The moon.
The moon.
The moon.
The full moon.
Wow, fabulous. Wow,
beautiful.
fabulous.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow, fabulous.
Isn't that a neat picture?
That is
That's cool, yeah.
cool. Yeah. You should
Yeah.
put that in the
Cloud shape is
bulletin.
beautiful too.
Nice.
Well, I think before we close, we need to just give great greetings to Peter, who couldn't be with us tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And also to Ellie.
Yes, and Ellie also.
Yes, Ellie. Does everyone knows that Ellie's in Holland?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
her
was
mom
she in
is
Holland?
not well, so she
Just
had
visiting
to go
relatives.
there suddenly.
Mother,
Your mother,
Yeah,
Her mom is 96, Jim, or 97?
98?
something like that, like
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
late 90s. And, she's not well. So the
Oh.
family has flown back to Holland. So I think Ellie, I haven't heard from Ellie in about a week. I think she's still there.
Yeah, I heard from her 2 days ago. And they're still there dealing with things, but she said that their mother's not expected to improve. So it's just a matter of time, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
And
we
they're
need to
cleaning
keep,
out her house.
Sorry?
They're
we need to
cleaning
keep
out
Peter,
Yes, they're
Sorry.
cleaning out the house. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
wow, that's amazing, still in her house at that age.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to keep Peter in our prayers. That
In
must have
prayers,
been a
definitely,
very scary
yes.
thing to
Yeah.
discover,
doing a
but
biopsy
hopefully
this
he's,
week.
Yeah.
and then he'll get on treatment, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's good.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Enjoy it on
Same
the
to
way.
you.
Good Christmas
Yes.
to you.
Feliz
Nice to see
Navidad.
everybody.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Maybe.
Okay.
bye-bye.
Bye.
thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next
Cheers.
year.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Take care.
Take care.
Everybody, nice seeing
Okay.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
I'm going to end the meeting here right away. So.
Okay, thank you.
Oh gosh, you're recording all that.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Bye now.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for your help.